Chris Humphreys,
Lynn Kira,
Mason Medeiros,
Felipe Osas-Koenig,
and this is the APTA Tour.
See you at Short Hills.
Hello and welcome to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Short Hills Club bringing you the Short Hills Grand Prix, a 2022-23 APTA Tour event, which is the 10th stop on the APTA Tour presented by Remedy Plus and sponsored by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Paddle Pro and Fusion, and local sponsors, the lead sponsor, Core Private Wealth, Yaddy, Maple Crest Ford Lincoln, Xenon, Club Pilates, Smith Chiropractic, Paper Ribbon Wrap, Spiro Harrison and Nelson, Wet Ticket Brewing, New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association, and the New Jersey Flex League. And I'm Brad Easterbrook alongside Anthony Casamana, bringing you men's quarterfinal round action between our number 1 seeds of Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell, and Graham McNerney and Scott Kaler. And welcome to the booth.
Thank you, Brad. Let's go around the horn and we'll introduce our audience to the players. If you look at the top left of your screen in all black, that is Johan Durant. To his left, to our right, his partner Steve Mitchell in the gray sweatshirt, black hat. But coming down to the bottom right-hand side of the screen in the baby blue top is Graham McNerney.
Gotta like the baby blue.
And then to his left, wearing the backwards cap, is Scott Kaler.
Yeah, so it's a great matchup. We'll take a quick look at the draw and see how the teams got here.
So at the top of the draw, Durant and Mitchell played local hometown favorite Zach Rosenow. They pressed them a little bit in the second set, 6-2, 7-5, and then 2-set match against Hassan and Hirsch. And here we are at Kaler McNerney. They played Baxter and Bostrom in the second round for a 3-set match. I heard that was a very good match.
Yeah, I expected that to be a good round of 16 there, and it was. But they lost the first set, then they took it on 6-2, 6-4, 6-2, and great, interesting matchup here. You have Kaler and McNerney, both really tall guys who are great at using waterfalls. They have great volleyers, 2 of the better volleyers in the game. Kaler really doesn't have a ton of offense either at the net or in the backcourt. He's just really super solid in every facet of the game. He lobs well, he generally makes good choices. You know, McNerney has great ability to put the ball away with some cut winners, and he's a great blitzer, great volleyer. I just am not sure I see where Kaler McNerney can hurt Durant and Mitchell from the backcourt.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Not only that, Graham and Scott, I don't think they've played together a lot. I think they played the West Penn once this year. Graham's been playing with a number of different partners. He's got an amazing presence on the court. He makes such good decisions. He creates chaos, and he's very, very effective. He volleys, anticipates the volley almost like as well as Johan does. But you're right. I just don't know if there's going to be. I mean, there's not many teams that can put a dent in Johan and Steve Mitchell anyway. I'm not sure what these guys are going to have to do to break through.
Yeah, you know, but in terms of making a dent, there are certain weapons out on the tour where you could see, like, they can make a dent. You take, like, a Mark Powers forehand, or you take certain other weapons that are out there. Those things exist. Those can actually hurt Durant and Mitchell, even when they're on the net. I mean, those guys don't really thump forehands or backhands from the backcourt. You know, McNerney, they're both primarily, they make most of their bones just being really smart back there, taking balls off the screen drives, but they don't crush it, and they're great blitzers. It's just so hard to blitz against Durant and Mitchell because Durant is on top of that, so is Mitchell. They do such a good job transitioning in and out that they cut off your blitzes, and if you try to hit 3/4 pace drives against Durant and Mitchell, frequently he reads them. 75% of them, he's on it and he can drop volleys.
Yes, and where Graham excels is doesn't play well against where Johan excels, right? He loves to blitz and come into that net, and he's not going to win those exchanges with Johan on a regular basis. So you're right. I don't think they have that 1 or 2 weapons that some of those other teams have to really impact in a significant way. So they're going to have to be crafty, and Graham can be crafty. He can be crafty.
I think you may hit the nail on the head there, Anthony. I think that's where they're going to compete in this match. They're not going to compete with just shots. They're going to have to compete with the strategies they use and you know, we talked with Mark Fischel, one of other great commentators about this, you know, and he believes that, you know, it's almost, well, here we are getting ready to go. It looks like Steve Mitchell getting ready to start. So I'll bring up this thought in a minute.
Okay.
But,
Steve Mitchell to serve.
and who's our umpire in the chair, Anthony? Johan Carlson?
Yes, Johan Carlson.
All right. Umpire giving the announcements. Stephen Mitchell to start things off here, and we're underway. So just going back to that point we were making, I think the way they can try to compete, and I think they're aware of this, that they're going to have to compete mentally with these guys. And Mark was saying, you know, Mark Fischel before, that, you know, Durant and Mitchell have just gotten so good at a certain style of play that they've almost made it hard to try and play faster. You have to try to slow down. The faster you try to play, generally speaking, are working into their hands. You do see this from time to time with Durant Mitchell. It takes him a minute to get going. It almost looks like he's got his hand in his pocket. He's hanging out.
We've seen Johan, you know, take the first couple of games off from time to time as he, you know, kind of gets himself into the match. So maybe that can work to Caleb McNerney's advantage. But we've seen them come back so quickly from that. It's nothing. You don't get free points for too long against these guys.
Now, the big thing, one of the great things to watch is in terms of just watching the skill and the way Durant will hold his overheads when he starts working from the middle of the court. And he holds it in almost like an Eastern backhand grip, and he waits for the ball to drop, and he can either carve right underneath it and hit like a cut winner, push it long, or sort of pooch it up, and he does it in the instant. It's impossible to read it ahead of time, and he does such a good job with it. He uses it as a tool to move people around, and he's moving you around, then all of a sudden he's hitting a cut winner. And when he's on with that shot, it's really, really brutal, you know, a great shot.
Yeah, and I don't think you can understate the way he does that, the way he keeps his opponents guessing on where that ball's going to go into that very last minute. And right, he sucks you up to the net because you think he's going to drive, and then he lobs it over your head. He does that really better than anyone. I try to tell some of the younger guys that are coming up and playing over at Brookside, where I play, that being able to disguise your shots is a lot of people don't think that way, but the better you get at that, you'll get a few seconds or a fraction of a second advantage. And Johan does that better than anyone.
Yeah, the disguise I use these days is I think I'm actually hitting it clean, and then I completely mishit it, and it goes really slow, and people get this, they're totally distracted by that.
We win points by hitting it off the side of our pads.
There you go. Nobody expected that. And there we go. Great start there for McNerney and Kaler, taking that first game 1 love. Feel-out moment. And there, it's an interesting game, though, because we saw a couple of great points. They drove it through one time, but it looked like kind of a slow play game there for Durant Mitchell, warming themselves up.
Yes.
I don't know that they actually hurt him with drives, did they?
Not that I could tell.
But
no, they'll ease into this. I mean, counter to what we saw in our previous ladies quarterfinal, that both teams warmed up for a good 25-30 minutes before they started. I think these guys stepped onto the court a few minutes ago, and it'll take them a few games to really get loose.
Well, here's going to be the interesting part, because Kaler and that's, ooh, that should be.
Did that come back over?
It's their point. It should be point for McNerney and Kaler. Because, see, that's what I was trying to wait for the umpire to call that.
Yes.
Because that ball bounced off the back screen but went to the other side of the court. If the ball travels to the other side, it is a loss of a point for the person who hit it. That time Johan Durant hit it, so it's a loss of a point. And that actually is a rule that will not help him here today because he's one of the best hard overhead hitters in the game, and it's so warm out there. That may happen a few times when he goes for that hard overhead. He would have won the point, but
especially if he gets the nick, it comes out even farther. But that ball is a point if it comes. They're going after him. If that ball's a point, even if it comes to the side of the net, right? So if it comes over the net, it's a loss of point, and if it travels to the side of the net, as long as it bounces past the net, it's a loss of point.
And you can see here, as great a volleyer as McNerney is, he's still serving and staying back against Durant. Yeah. Nice. Good cut overhead. Wow, the lob right on the line. And you notice he elected to stay back.
No interest in coming up.
Yeah, because he knew the drive was coming. He misses that nice little sneaky move there, but misses it wide. This is where you always talk about this a little bit, you know, when you play Durant and Mitchell, there are moments where you have opportunities to get some games. They make some errors, some mistakes, and if you do not capitalize on those moments, if you don't go up right now, if McNerney, you know, and Kaler don't go up right now, it's a really bad omen. Right? You got to take your moments when you get them, because then they heat up and they start making winners and shots left and right.
Absolutely. To stay in this set, yes, they have to take advantage of these early games where it does look like you know, they're donating a few points, and if they can stay up, when they start charging back later in the set, at least they'll still be in it, and they'll have a chance to come out on top.
Oh yeah, they could even take this set, you know, for sure.
For sure.
They, you know, it's just you got to capitalize on the moments with these guys when you get them. It's just a great lob. It's actually interesting. It's like Durant knew that they weren't bothering to come in. He just lays it right back. Yeah, it's a great shot there. Nice effort. A little bit of a low ball for the drive. Tries for the down the line. Slippery shot there. 40-30. Oh. And that's one of the things Kaler and McNerney love to do, to actually step forward, take the ball early, and play offensive volleys. Now, that wasn't a bad look. He just pushed it wide.
No, I like that, and that's, you have to be on top of the net. You have to be ready to push, you know, to offense, not swing volley, but offensive.
No, he wasn't swinging
no,
it. He was trying to push it behind him.
Just an offensive look at it moving forward. They both do that really well.
Yeah, I would say that's one of definitely the areas that they excel the most at. It's one of the, you know, the top parts of their games, both of them, McNerney and Kaler. All right, Deuce here. Oof. Just tattooing that. That's going just on the line. Great dig there from McNerney. All right, now he's starting to work on the overheads. That's just long. Oh, that'll do. Oh, too good. Great shot.
Fantastic shot. Moving in, kept the ball in front of him.
It's perfect. It's definitely, you know, McNerney's actually more dangerous off the screen than he is off the deck. He's exceptionally good at taking that high backhand off the screen. There you see another good backhand drive off the screen. Ooh. Go over? I think it did.
It did go over.
Over and in off top of the net. They squeak out a point there.
That's a big point too. So now we have another head in. That's a big game.
That was a huge hold. I mean, you know, 2-love now. They're like we said, taking advantage of what they got. A few errors there from Mitchell. A couple little lucky breaks on that court. A couple of great gets on their part. You know, McNerney's been doing that more, hitting the forehand more, trying to bring it into his game more and more. He hit that one really hard, and I like it. He's going to miss a couple, but I think he needs to build it in there.
I agree. I think he needs that. He needs that in his repertoire. He's got so many other strengths, but that really hasn't been a big part of his game.
No, if anything, it's been the liability. You know, you could just push it to his forehand if you wanted to. In fact, and when you have that ability, it's so comforting as a team to say, all right, anytime I'm in trouble, I'm going to push it. Now, he would I mean, he's a top player. He's one of the best players in the game. But he's done that by throwing in blitzes and other moves, right? Not by actually hitting the forehand, by just making you think he's going to blitz and a few other things. If he adds that forehand to his repertoire,
yes,
it's a whole nother dimension for him.
That will bring him up into the top 3, 4, 5 guys for sure.
Yeah. And there you see he's gone for it twice, and he's missed both. But I mean,
Yep.
I still think he's got to do it. It's the right
like
ball.
I like him hitting it. And that's the challenge, right? So as you're bringing a new shot into a game, when you miss it once or twice, then you put it away, and it's not really the right decision to put it away, but you also know you can't give away 3 points. So.
One of the great things about playing this particular match is if I ask you, you know, make a pick here, and who's going to win this match?
I never would bet against Durant.
Right, so you're going to take Durant and Mitchell. My point really is that they're playing with house money here. So he can go for his shots, kind of work on it, and if they win, it's great. But it's a little bit of a house money type of game, right? You know, so he can go for it at the right times. I don't think they were necessarily bad looks. Just something he's got to have to work on and bring it into the fold.
And I think I don't think in any sense do Graham and Scott think they're not capable of winning this match. So. Especially the way Graham plays with tremendous confidence, like that's his game. You know, he just needs to always feel like, even if he's on the receiving end of some of the Johan shot, that he's in control a lot of these points.
Great hands from McNerney, sticks it back. He's actually retreating back, but still playing an offensive volley because he puts his hands right in front of him in perfect position.
So he's settled, very comfortably settled.
Mitchell's got to get that forehand going. You know, Durant definitely going for the body a little bit here. I don't mind as a play. Some people find it to be a little disconcerting.
I think it's a part of the game. It's a legitimate part of the game, and points are hard to come by. If you can find a spot to get a point or to move your opponent left or right so that they can't recover, you have to do it.
All right. Now Durant and Mitchell are 3-0 in Grand Prix this year. They've won all the Grand Prix they've played, and they are basically, I think they lost one in the beginning of the season to Berger Doya. You know, first tournament of the year in Montclair, and they haven't really lost since. You know, are you of the mindset that it's not a bad thing to lose, or that you really just don't want to ever lose?
Yeah, it's a great question. Because, right, it's you know, mentally, having a loss in there makes you fight harder to come back, and you don't want to lose. But I don't know if that is a factor for these guys. I think Johan is of the mindset, I'm just going to win and plow everybody over. I don't expect to lose, and I will not give an inch.
Right. I think you're right. And honestly, I put the question out there, but I don't think it matters to these guys either. It is a curious mindset. Like, you know, we haven't lost a match all year, you know. And everybody right now, this is our 10th tournament of the year. We were talking about that earlier. And it's, you know, there's 3 more, and it's basically the road to nationals right now. You know, so everybody's kind of trying to get into their peak form, but their peak form has been all season, right?
Yeah, so it's not a matter of trying to peak at the right time. It's really just more focus for both of these guys, just staying focused on the prize.
Oh, that's great. I think it hit the seam.
Definitely hit the seam there. To a quick lead. We're only a handful of minutes into this set.
Well, they're playing great error-free paddle, doing exactly what they want, and nothing yet. They haven't strung anything together yet, Mitchell and Durant. They played some great shots, but sprinkled in a few errors here and there.
This is kind of reminiscent of the Hughes and Powers match against Johan and Steven as well, where they lost the first set pretty decisively and barely blinked and came back to win the second set. So we'll see if they start a little bit earlier here.
Yeah, you mentioned that Powers at the final of Boston Open, they lost the first set 6-love to Powers and Hughes. And Powers and Hughes was crushing the ball, taking those underhand serves and crushing them early, blitzing, and it almost looked like, it's hard to imagine that the play gets too fast for Durant Mitchell, but it almost was. Yeah, and then they found a little gear, and honestly, Powers and Hughes sort of lost the gear.
They did. And
then it was quickly a 6-1, 6-1 the other way. Move there from Kaler, smoothly moves up the wire, holds his shot. But that's the kind of ball that I usually see Durant and Mitchell get super close to the net and look to volley. They haven't been really closing off the net that much yet. Yeah, playing a lot of offensive volleys. It's sort of been a little different style that I normally see for them. Usually they're right on top. Like when he's starting to move up, you'll see Mitchell move right off to the side and get right into a position where he can actually just stick the volley back in.
You're right, and they both do. Johan loves doing that right on top of the net, redirect that volley. So you're right, they're playing a little bit farther off the net.
Sneaky little balls there. If they actually have that space, that'll work really well for McNerney and for Kaler. If they give them that space in front of them and don't close off those half-pace drives, McNerney and Kaler are great at pushing that ball down inside the service box. Great for him, McNerney. Pull that up more and more. I love it. There it is again. Finds his feet inside. You don't see that very often. That's if that's going to continue, that's going to make a difference in this match.
That plays right into Graham's strength.
Absolutely,
right
and Kaler's.
And Kaler's. Graham loves that. He loves that.
He can dig it at the feet and blitz behind it with the best of them. If you give that to him, to either one of these guys, they'll make you pay. You just sit there. Break point for 4-1 here for Kaler. That's a great snap roller there.
It just did not come up at all. That's a great shot. Stayed right on the snowboard.
Shot forward. And it's hard to just take the pace off because it's actually flying forward so fast. Now we got a little conversation here they usually do figure stuff out. I mean, Durant
I'm surprised they're talking so early that it's even an issue at 3-1. But
people think they just steamroll everybody, but they got this stuff worked out and they practice together. It's one of the reasons there's been like this sort of secondary resurgence in Durant's career. When he started playing with Stephen Mitchell because it's a friend,
they
South African.
Before they stepped forward, yeah.
Right, and they get to practice together and talk about the game together. Break point again for 4-1.
Talking about Durant partnering with Mitchell way back when. Say, is that really the best move? He'll have better success with someone else, but obviously that's been proven false.
Mitchell's got a huge skill set, and it's one of these deals where if he did in fact play with somebody else, you might see it open up more his skill set. But his current role is position volley in the right spots, and he's awesome at it. He gets in the right spot. He's great backhand volleys, hit huge forehand returns when he can, and spot offense at the right times, and he does it usually to a T.
And emotionally and mentally as strong as they come.
Wow. Kaler chase. That lob's going to go long. Just creating that movement in there with that quick little cut. The warm weather allows you to compress the ball more, and the ball really can react to the court. So he's hitting that. It's not so easy to hit that in 5-degree weather. Oh, just a couple of great rollers to get the hold there. That was a big game.
That was a very big game. I agree, because I think going up 4-1 would have really played, and Johan stepping back and having that discussion helps win that game. Fusion, a proud partner to the APTA. Fusion curates what's next in branded gear and apparel for your company, your team, or your event. With a team of dedicated industry experts, Fusion curates high-end product selections for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate identity. Fusion creates a stress-free shopping experience with custom online stores and quick custom ordering to get the gear you need now without any hassle. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion provide you with gear to fuel your brand.
There's a good vob. Nice stay back there from McNerney. Durant using the hard overhead in this warm weather, hitting it hard and low and at the body. And make the guys either have to get a tough block or get out of the way and chase. He loves that strategy. And he's actually the best in the game at it. Because his ability to hit fast pace with a little swing is pretty incomparable.
I'm starting to think Durant, when he went back to speak to Mitchell, just said, we're doing this in 2 sets.
Nice, maybe.
I think that's what he said.
Just kind of have to raise his level a little bit. He's making a few mistakes. I wouldn't say horrible choices, just errors. He's missed a couple of forehands. There he's got a decent blitz, pushes it a little long, you know, and kudos to that transition ball, which is exceptional at. This is it there. But they're putting enough pressure on him, making enough balls, allowing Durant Mitchell to make a few errors. And this is, like we said, this is where you got to go get ahead. Because once those Mitchell shots start coming in and he stops making those errors, well, it's a different ball game.
I feel a little bit of a shift. I do.
Give it to them a little, because they faulted like 3 or 4 times in the last few games, but you can see the rollers and things heating up a little. Sun, he's looking at the sun, he's pointing at it. I mean, you know, it is tricky. The sun, we always play in the wintertime, it's a low sun game. Experienced players, it doesn't happen. Maybe forward hat helps. Instead of the backward hat, get the lip on the other side. You're blocking the sun, but a lot of times.
Short Hills is always a little more challenging, I've always found, with the sun.
You mean with the direction of the courts and so on?
I guess. You know, honestly, I'll say some of the back courts, when it comes through the trees, it's a little bit more difficult. Not the same we're seeing here, but.
And there you got a game, but that's, you know, great playing for Durant Mitchell, but those were errors from Caleb McNerney that they cannot afford, right? You know, you got a couple errors from Mitchell, but then you give them back with a fault, missed overhead, and you know, you miss it in the sun. It happens. But now we're at 3-all.
Different types of overheads does Johan have?
I mean, he can hit any type because he can hit around the ball in any spot, meaning from underneath to the side to the other side. Then he can roll over the top of it, inside out with a Western grip, you know, so over the top. So he has them all. I'm not sure what the actual finite number of overheads, but whatever it is, he has. You know,
yeah, most people rely on, you know, a good roller and a good, you know, spin into the side. He's regularly using 5 different overheads.
Oh yeah, and different heights. Right. Should be aware that different heights. Again, see, he's just further off the net than he normally is there. Normally he's on top of the net more. It's surprising.
You're right. He just gave away 2 points for that reason. I think he heard you, Brad, because he just stepped up.
15-30. Come on. Go. Come on. Go. Come on. Go.
That's a great attack. forehand off the back screen. Really surprised you.
You say a great word in there. He exploded it off the back screen. You know, and that's like we talked about. The ability to sort of hold your shot and then quickly add the pace to it makes a huge difference. And in this warm weather, it really is like, oh my gosh, Kaler. You know, if Kaler's going to lose the ball in the sun there, he could let it wind around to his backhand side and play it with a backhand off the back screen. He's moving out and he's looking directly into the sun.
He should only make that mistake once. You're right.
What's interesting a little bit today too is they're not deciding, because Mitchell and Durant have many ways they can play it from the backcourt or the front, and they'll switch according to what they want to do. For today, and there's the look on. That's what we normally see. There, he hits the roller. Kaler comes in, hits the three-quarter drive off the screen now, but that time Durant's on top of the net, anticipating it, and he hits a drop volley winner. And now they kind of the errors are turning the other direction, and they, you know, these errors they just can't afford.
Scott broke down a little bit that game, made a few errors that he shouldn't have. And he's known for being very steady, so he just needs to refocus.
He's extremely steady, and you know, an extremely smart player. But sometimes, even if you're steady, when the points start moving up, or you feel like you got to do one thing or another, or the point moves faster than you, like everybody has a break point, whatever that is, right? Anyone here who's in the top 20 can probably, if you're just hitting the balls, they can all make 100 in a row, right? Every single person probably. It's a question of, can you make 100 in a row against these types of balls and those types of balls, and can you see the different spins, right? And that's the difference, really, that I always tell people, that the difference between the top teams isn't that they're that much more consistent. In some cases it is, but mostly the top teams are the guys who force the most errors. They force the most errors, make you difficult, make it difficult for you, make you uncomfortable.
And that was Scott as well, right? So Scott was a little unsure about that. He put up a really short over lob, and I think you're right. I think he's just getting a little unsteady with himself.
Mitchell goes for the big hammer forehand down the line, high part of the net. Super easy ball. Definitely some risk involved there, and he makes the error.
Scott wisely stayed back on that ball.
Great transition drive on the high ball. Yeah, he's got a great forehand, but there are times, like everybody does, where they throw in a few misses here and there. I thought he was going to take the screen drive there. Actually, smart play. It was a little low. Oh, good stretch. Oh, that was just masterful from McNerney. And then Kaler, the confidence to actually stay at the net and then move forward there. That was incredible. Well done. See how easy it is for those players to recognize who's taking that ball. Durant's moving a little up the sidewire, so McNerney hits it hard into the side, which is a smart play, but Mitchell's easily got it. There's a good move.
I don't think teams take advantage of that play enough, honestly, right? I mean, you want to keep pressure. If you're on the other side of the court and you don't want to drop a ball to Johan's forehand, why not just have himself park himself there, just have that continuous pressure. And if the ball goes behind you, your partner picks it up. Just think of Mark Powers just standing there waiting to rip his forehand, but he'll come out and take those side screen, back screen balls instead of letting John Hughes, who's a lefty, come and take it.
Wow. Really pressuring forward on the drives. You can see Durant Mitchell. As soon as their partner gets a play, the other guy's looking to move in a little. Look at Durant's positioning there. Now he backs off, but he's putting it there just to let you know if you don't hit a certain type of shot. And then if you speed it up too much, he's right there for the screen drive. That's great stuff, the action seat up now. Ooh, beautifully played from McNerney there. Switch it to net.
Johan looks dialed in now.
Well, I think what they want now, see when this switch is happening, I think they want this, the roller and then the screen drive, and watch it around. He's just going to wait for the one ball that they try to drive. And he's going to sneak in and look for the drop volley. That's just a great shot from McNerney. Durant stunned actually for a second. It's a beautiful point. Oh, and that's a perfect point for McNerney and Kayla. They just ground it, and it took all that, and he finally goes for the one really tough shot on the court, the cross-court little dink, and he misses it. Just a great point from Kayla McNerney. Get it to Deuce. Oh, and there's another point they gain out of the court ball. Running about 50% on those, a couple out of the court, a couple of wins.
Where are we? About 50 degrees, so yes, that's going to play a factor for sure.
Yeah, he'll win points with it for sure. Nice cut off there from Taylor. That's a bit of a mistake drive, I think, that time for Mitchell. Switch back in the backcourt. Nice close.
I anticipated that. Right in the middle of the court.
Oh, and that does it. Well done. That's a great, great game from Kayla McNerney. Awesome hold. I thought it was going to be 5-3 for Durant Mitchell there, and they were up 3-1. And the train was off and running, but that was just a tremendous hold.
Scott dialed it back in. He came back in. And
yeah, but a couple just a really well-played points. McNerney and Kayla just earned them. They hit 10, 15 good shots, some really good shots from Durant Mitchell, and that's all you need to do.
That's all you need to do.
That's all you need to do.
It's that easy.
Too much pace off that. Halfway up the net there. Oh, it's a good look. I think
loves that shot.
I think McNerney was actually looking to see if that ball was in. He was asking Kayla, and Kayla was like, I don't think it was good. So, no call, 15 all.
Just overheard, Rams and Wagner are up 5-3 in the first set in the quarterfinal match.
Against Uriah Parsons. Yep, that'll be a good one. Yeah, there's a lot of great quarterfinals. The new director of racket sports here at the Short Hills Club, Humphreys, in the quarterfinal as well. on Kaler right now. Slow diet. They're trying to move him around. That's the ball he wants. He's going to play till he gets that one high ball. It's a good cut. Oh, and perfect positioning from Mitchell. He's right there. Just cannot come up with the volley. He's only about 8 feet from him, so it's a tough transition. He didn't hit hard, but it's just fast.
And I don't think in his head he thought Graham would squeeze it into that 1 foot area either. So he was right up that line.
Yeah, but he was right on it.
He was.
Oh,
he was.
Durant with a little kind of Olay casual screen drive there that he was trying to hold. Now it's break point. Oh, he tries to sky up for the smash. Just another inch he needed.
Yeah, it's hard to lay off of that one. And he's could easily make that shot. Didn't look like he got much air underneath him for that one.
So I misspoke before too. It was against Berger. Doya Ramsey, Wagner up 5-3.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for Berger Doya, it's an interesting season. They started out, actually last year they won the Nationals, right? So they're defending national champions. And they started out the season, it's almost got the same kind of arc as it did from last year. They won the first couple of tournaments of the year. And then they kind of had a little break. And then they had also this year, a disappointing Boston. They were disappointing Boston last year. So maybe this is how it works. You know, they take the beginning and the end of the season and make them perfect.
You know, for them peaking at the right time seems more in their makeup.
But tough team. Our second seed, Berger Doya, down 5-3 in the first set. A lot of great points. And there's another overhead you see. And you talked about the amount of overheads he uses, 5 or 6. Now he uses a third panel smash where he slams it down. And if you hit it into the third panel up from the back hard, it acts like a waterfall to the back and ends up in the middle of the court. He just pushed that one by, but he's just missing some balls. You know? And this is the exact match that Nerney and Kaler want to play.
Yeah,
Steady.
This is right where they want to be.
They're getting a few errors out of Durant and Mitchell. And another error, and that's a shot that they have, but they're missing. At this point, they're getting points by having these guys miss overheads. So keep doing it until they get what they want. Oh, great track down. Seam. Nice. Ball's so warm out. Go to make digs from everybody. And this is exactly what they want. Keep it. Make these guys finish the point. Oh, I thought he was going for the cutter there.
Scott are playing so smart right now. If you're going to get a few free points, then your job at that point is just not to make any mistakes. Just
That's right.
Play the right points and let it play out until it changes.
Kaler right now has started dialing in what he wants to try to do. He's not really going for much.
No, I mean, he's looking for that forehand, like you said, and he's going to be solid as a rock.
Like this one he's going to hit.
That's
the one he's going to hit, right? That's the one shot.
That's his 98%.
Right. And the lobs he's hitting, if you watch, he's starting to hit them lower. You know, he'll look for the high drive, but he's hitting them like low and kind of out. Watch, like this, right? He's not putting it high, so they don't have time to set up underneath it as much. So he's sort of developed a shot that's working for him that they are struggling to attack. And, you know, this is the worst scenario for a Durant and a Mitchell, where they can't hurt you. You know, they're trying and they just can't do it. And then eventually they're going to go for more.
Right, and this is where Johan will tend to get a little bored and try something.
He's going to go for the hard one. It did not cross. That was good. That one stayed right in there. It's a risk involved, but that was only like 2 inches.
Yep, we're only looking at a foot there.
And again, we'll bring this up to the audience again. If that ball hits the back screen first and then goes to the other side, it is a loss of point for the person who hit it. So that ball came within an inch or two of being a loss of point for Durant and Mitchell. But instead it goes, now it's there. Or deuce, actually. Deuce. Oh, that was going out, I think, but it doesn't matter. He hits it from behind his head there, Anthony.
It was behind him. Scott thought he had that point one. He took his high percentage backhand, which he loves too. They're playing very smart. They're going to have to just squeak out a point or two here. And that was long. So Johan, again, maybe he's just getting a little frustrated with the pace of play on the overheads. He took a big swing and hit an overhead out, and now we're back at deuce.
Yeah, but that's like, they're winning points some other ways, but in this game, would you say what percentage of points that Keller and McNerney are winning versus just they're making an error?
No,
right?
it's been
errors.
3 out of 4 errors. Yes.
Right. Yes, they maybe won 1 point, and I'm saying they're playing the points exactly the way they want to. This is what they want to do. They're actually just making it hard for them to win points, and then it gets to the point where, you know, Durant and Mitchell go for a little more and they miss. And this is the exact match that they want to play.
And if there's a playbook on them, that is it, right? Get them to a point where they're kind of bored. They feel like they can't just exploit the other team with good overheads, and then they'll try to change their approach a little bit.
Right. And now it's like they're at the net, but they're not doing anything to them, right? This is perfect, and they're using the low lobs. I'm telling you that, it's definitely making a difference. So these medium pace lobs that are to the middle, not high lobs, but actually sort of low and out, right? That's a good lob there. He's not going to take anything except a hard drive off the screen. I don't think Keller's going to hit a ball, unless it's that hard ball off the screen.
Hard one that comes into his forehand, or the short ball that comes to his backhand. He only really looks for those two anyway. Right, Scott has centered on, he's focusing right on that short half lob.
What a volley. Yeah, but this is still a win for, even this is the exact way that McNerney and they want to play this match. This is a perfect point for them.
That was their
well
point.
Done.
They controlled that point exactly how they wanted to.
Giving them nothing, and then they finally get something to do something with, and they make it happen. A lot of it's coming down to the low. Oh, he misses that one, though. I love how Mitchell wasn't at the net there. You never know when they're in or out. It's so tricky. So sometimes you overplay your drive. Sometimes you don't. It really was kind of a layup. It wasn't a hard drive at all. Ah, that transition ball. McNerney loves that. Some people would stay back there. McNerney wants to invite, even against a guy like Durant. See, there's that low lob. It's great. Mitchell.
3-drive transition.
Yes, fun stuff. Great volley. Still kind of surprised I'm not seeing him stay right on top of the net. Oh, and it's a great point, but I think they played that game absolutely the right way.
That's what they have to do to win this match. They played it perfectly, but that's what's going to happen when you're playing Durant Mitchell. You're not always going to get that point, but they played it perfectly.
Well, he just didn't execute the right shot. It's the right shot. He just didn't execute it, but they got what they needed. And they're going to need a few of those errors from Durant Mitchell to win this match. But they're
always going to. That's how you're.
In a weird way, it's hard to say they forced it out of them, but they forced it out of them because of their willingness to play a certain style and because they started to hit the right type of lobs. You notice in that entire game, how many cut winners were there for Durant Mitchell?
No,
Zero. They got 0, right?
figured a great place to go, and he hit that same spot on that middle of the service box 8 out of 10 lobs. He put it in the same exact spot.
Right.
Right. They didn't get any opportunities to juice that ball.
Now this is the trickier part. Ooh,
Left court.
that's just too good from McNerney. So good.
Long court to long court, cross court. Great shot. That ball just didn't come out of the corner.
Yeah, he had a beautiful ball, and Mitchell was tracking it down, but it was perfectly placed. Ooh, airmailed.
I want to say Sun, but I don't think so.
Sun's behind him.
It's,
On the serve, I don't think so. If
no.
he's looking back,
Catch the corner of your eye there, but
you know, he's hitting a heavy, hard serve there. You can see the movement. Durant Mitchell speeded up. Now they're going to switch to the backcourt. Good play. He's just inviting transition now. Smart off-pace ball. Oh, he thought Mitchell was going to hit it. So he's going to 10 points right now.
Scott did not flinch on that one either.
I thought that might have been long, but
Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
what a
still.
get.
This is fun paddle to watch when everyone's so comfortable and they're all kind of in their own little zones.
Yeah, we had patches in the beginning, and we've had some errors, but this is great stuff. Just both teams trying to play the way they want to. I mean, Durant Mitchell would like to speed this up more if they could. It just hasn't been so simple because really smart play from McNerney and Kaler. Oh, he's missed a couple. It's the shot he wants. They're going to have to make those, but still a good point.
So that's when you're feeling good. You take that one-handed backhand. Scott's shot is really the two-handed drive. I think he needs to still stay in that 95% success zone, that big forehand and a two-handed backhand.
All right, so we're at double set point now for Durant and Mitchell. Called wide, and all right, so game set and first set to Durant and Mitchell, 6-4. It was a great set, and we'll be back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by My Paddle.
High performance never tasted this good. Chocolate, berries, cinnamon, agave. Fuel your body with the shot and the bar. Now available in a deliciously energizing power pack. See how much farther you can go with Remedy Plus.
All right, welcome back to the APTA Tour, presented by Remedy Plus. We are in men's quarterfinal round action between our #1 seeds of Durant Mitchell, who just took the first set 6-4 against McNerney and Kaler after being down 3-1. Slow start, you know, a bunch of errors in the beginning. Kaler and McNerney then actually kind of went to the hole and donated some points. And then they found the perfect remedy of how they wanted to play. And I think they did it almost perfectly in the last bunch of games, Anthony. But, you know, just like that last game, 2 faults, and they just missed, and a missed transition drive. I can't say that any of it was bad. They just made a couple of errors, but they had the game where they wanted it to go.
Yeah, I think they feel much more comfortable in the strategy right now. Graham just looked up at the sun, so that it is a factor off the back screen. But their strategy is good, and I feel like, and we said this in the transition, that it looks like almost point to point they're trying to reevaluate their strategy, because as Scott's been lobbing so well into Steve's low lobs to his Steve's side. Durant Mitchell have already adjusted to it, and they're trying to create more transition shots that play to their favor.
Working that screenshot there. Oh, he goes for the cutter from underneath the net. It's very doable.
It's doable.
Just tough when you're working with those fine window of contact points. That serve is out.
And we're at 15-40.
You notice we were talking before about McNerney working on the forehand off the deck, but you know, they did find the right type of strategy, and you notice how many forehands off the deck was he hitting when they were doing the strategy? Pretty much none, right?
I don't think
you
we
know,
saw
none,
him.
right? They were waiting for the screen drive and lobbing the ball well and getting the exact ball they wanted. So there's two levels to that. Oh, that's great.
good.
Cut off so well. Oh, loose game there from Mitchell. Pushed it out. Just transit the ball back, but
That's a great game from McNerney and Kaler to start off the second set.
you know, it's great though watching Durant and Mitchell. They go back. They're still talking about it. They're still finding ways to push the envelope. How are we going to win these points? Where are we going to get them? And I think Kaler Mitchell, Kaler and McNerney playing smartest match they can play.
Yes, absolutely. And for those just joining us here in the second set, to serve right now is Scott Kaler with the hat on backwards. McNerney is at the net in the white T-shirt. On the far side, returning the ball, Johan Durant, and his partner Steve Mitchell in the black.
Yeah, and I'm all in on that green headband. I'm kind of digging it.
It's got a good look.
You know, keeps his nice golden locks
That's
nice
right.
and tidy.
All that thick, lush hair out of his eyes. Still waiting for Kaler to flip that hat around so it actually does something.
Yeah, so he doesn't complain about the sun getting in his eyes, right? Turn it around the other way. But yeah, there were a couple of sun misses in the beginning for sure. That's a great cut overhead. He catches him. You know, he's playing a little cat and mouse in there, Mitchell, and then he just bounces it over in the hard cutter, and Mitchell kind of deserved that one. He had to get out of there a little sooner. Switch to the backcourt. Oh, that's an easy drive, a nice transition ball there. Ernie.
Not be a bad idea to play Mitchell's side of the court with the sun peeking out of that corner. I was just going to say that looking straight into that corner now can be an issue.
Yeah, I think it's the option they want to go to too, because they're
Yeah.
also getting a few a little
Yeah.
bit of loose errors here out of Mitchell right now.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, he just missed that lob out. He knew it the moment he hit it.
Let's see if they notice that and capitalize, or at least try to change a little bit. If and when they take the net. Graham's in the backhand here. They don't look like they're in a rush to switch sides back.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
There's
to
no
them.
no
Yeah.
need to, no, for sure. Like we were saying earlier, just a little different look doesn't hurt.
Hard overhead again. Did it cross? It's good. It's called good. Yeah, it means
What? See Graham look up to the umpire chair.
yeah, pretty sure he called that good,
Good,
right?
yes.
All right, so 30-40. Oh, there's a good. Oh, what a volley.
Great volley.
Oh, that's just
And then a perfect
so
spot.
good.
That's a big point.
I mean, that was perfect. It was a perfect blitz play. Amazing volley from Kaler, followed by a perfect waterfall there.
Yes, Scott just donated it back.
Yeah, a couple of faults out of
Yes.
Ernie and Kaler. Not easy to serve to those guys, but gotta make them hit it. tennis, you only get the one serve. Oh, wow. Mitchell working. Great defense. No. I mean, they're going for it. I can't say it's not there. They're just hitting them a lot.
Yeah,
you know, they're going for them. Oh, drop shot. And look at that
around the
play.
post.
Nerdy loves that one, around the post, and he catches him in the feet.
It almost looked like he was playing with his opponents, because it looked like he almost stopped and then he lunged and finished the shot.
That was incredible.
It was a great ball.
There's some incredible stuff here. That's going to get driven. It's so warm out here. The ability to play transition. It's just incredible. I mean, the shot making is incredible. They're missing, but it's just incredible play. They're missing a few, but the shots they're making are just outrageous. It's a great lob.
I've heard this tossed around a little bit. Brad, what your opinion on it? Some people say the style of paddle has obviously changed over the last many years, and it's less in that traditional form. And players are more willing to trade points, right? Lose a few because you're being more aggressive to win a few more, right? So trying a little bit more risky shots, and they're willing to lose 5 to win 7, lose 5 to win 8.
Right, and
Where
if
it
that's
used
the
to
case, you're going to be on the
you're still
winning
gonna
end,
win.
though.
Where it used to be, don't give away any points, right? It's don't lose a point because
Well, I think
it's a game
that's
of errors.
how it is. I think the game hasn't changed in that base way, but the ability to cut finish now is something that the top teams have. And without it, it's not likely you're going to be a top team. The ability to put a pressure overhead on there, it's just a very different game in that way. The juice here is back and forth. So it is that way. The basic tenets are the same, though. How they got back into the set and played it well was lobbing well and getting a few errors out of it. But the key is, though, you have to have, as the left ball came into the court, you just have to have the ability to sort of do either, to step it back when you need to and to recognize the moments to do it. The transition play also much different. 25 years ago, too, they're all aluminum courts now. The ball bounces off a lot more. The courts used to be wood courts in the back, right? Almost probably as early as like around 2000. It wasn't even that long ago. And then, what a get from Mitchell. And, wood courts, ball wouldn't come off the back as much, right? So it's
wood courts, deader balls. The balls are a lot less changed a lot. The paddles.
It's honestly warmer. I mean, it's a little warmer out here. We're playing in 55-degree weather. Not happening all the time. So it's all of it, from the uniformity of the courts and more bounce in it has sort of changed the overall tenet of the game at the highest levels. But still, if you want to become a top player, you have to go through the thing of never missing a point, never giving the ball up, being patient at the right time, and then you develop your skill set to move beyond it, where you can start trading off winners for, possible winners for the other. Makes sense. That's just great. Just tags him. Beautiful. Semifinals coming up after this. A couple of amazing matches. Mika Nicolescu, our second seed, against Shea and Sutter on the top half of the draw. And
Scott.
Yep, Kira Medeiros against Hanish Labori. And that'll be coming up right following these quarterfinals. Yeah, and it's sort of been I guess, the way we could characterize the match. There have been great moves by Kaler to adjust to the right type of lob. But then in the moments, there's been just an error. And not even necessarily on a shot that he can't make, just an error.
Just an error.
And that's been sort of the biggest difference overall.
it's not frequent, right? It's just one here or there, but it's just everyone's playing so consistently right now. It's just that one loose error that's going to change the makeup of each game.
No, these are great points. He's got the exact kind of tempo that I think both teams are. Well, I think Durant Mitchell would want a faster tempo.
A little faster, sure.
You know, but they can't get it. They can only give what their opponents are giving them, and the opponents are playing smart. Ooh.
Right. That's right where Scott wants that ball. He's been very, very good at getting it there. And there's not much they can do with it. Right there. That's the spot. Right there.
Yeah, see, that's nothing ball. That's just a ball to make transition happen.
Exactly. And that's what you were saying earlier. They want that transition to happen because that plays in their favor.
Taylor just standing. I love that slap shot drive from Mitchell.
That didn't look like it was coming.
There it is, top of the net, and just goes over McNerdy's paddle. You know, Anthony McNerdy's got to be one of the best in the country at always putting his paddle where it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
You know, so it looks like he's not even moving because he isn't, because it's always in the right spot. And he's generally in the right spot. There he did it all right, just hit the top of the net and went over his paddle.
And I think that was the key of your statement there, is he anticipates so well that he is in the right spot 90% of the time. So it very rarely looks like he's lunging or out of position, and it always looks like it's right at his paddle.
That's going to be too good. See, now they're just going for it because they're like, anytime we can invite transition on a ball we think we're going to make, we're going to do it. Yep, there it is again. And that time he caught him. Nice job. Now, if I'm these guys, I start to anticipate these types of moves. And it's a lot of, it's going to be cat and mouse. And then you're going to see these guys start, Durant and Mitchell, you know, start pushing the ball behind them once they start creeping up.
That's why I say these guys are, it's a chess game. They keep tweaking their strategy here and there just to keep finding maybe a little bit of an area to make a point or two.
For Durant and Mitchell, it's all going to be usually on the end of, can we speed this thing up? Can we move around there? Can we get a ball we can attack them with? And for Kaler and McNerney, it's not that they don't want to attack them. They do, but it's got to be on their terms.
It's got to be perfect in their terms, which is less leeway than Durant and Mitchell had. There's only a handful of really good opportunities that they will see. Dig out enough of these things, we can get the overhead error. There you saw Durant sneaking in, looking for the off-pace drive. They'll do that from time to time. Oh, he does the dink. He went for the dink after the strategy that has been working so well, just keeping it off to the right side of Johan's paddle. Changed it up. Yeah, I kind of agree with you in the sense, like, if we're going to say, is that the ball that he wanted, right? Is that the best ball, his number one ball? Probably not, right? And what they really want to do is look for their number one. I understand why he was doing it, and it was available to him. You want to hit those high screen shots. That's their number one ball. You can have the blitz behind him. That's right in there. Top of the net, back of the line. Fortune there. Can't see it coming. And that's great points. Exactly the kind of strategy, counter strategy we want to see from Caleb McNerney. Durant and Mitchell have decided that any opportunity they ball get to speed it up or to go for the winner, they're going to take. And
like you mentioned before, and I think it was a fantastic point, Anthony, is that they're willing to accept a loss of some points. Like they might cut one, but the other guys anticipated come up and stuff it at them, and they miss the volley. They're going to accept that miss for the 3 winners they got.
To generate that same
because as long as they're not coming way on the bottom side of it, and they're not. They're coming on the plus side on that one. So it's a different mindset that they're having and that they're trying to take to the court. But it's been fantastic to watch and a lot of fun play. And, kudos to Kayla McNerney for making this the right type of match. Now they're just going to have to execute it and keep it going. And that game, you can almost it was a hold at 40-15, but they can't really, like we said, the margins are smaller for Kayla and McNerney, so they can't afford too many of those misses where he went for that dink and put it in the top of the net, right? They really got to stay with the, strategy. We're going to hit the right ball, take that high one, or the right one, whatever they think is the right one, right?
Right. If we're talking about trading points, the ratio is in the favor of Johanna Mitchell, right? So they'll lose 3 to win 6, whereas Grant McNerney and Kayla might lose 3 to win 4. Their margin is just a little slimmer, so they can't afford as much risk. This is a big game.
Yeah, and they got a circle. A lot of this stuff is a few faults that have actually plagued these guys a little bit. Switching the backcourt. Oh, what an overhead from Kayla.
That was a good time for it.
Reese, no chance for Mitchell. Slides up the side fire. See, there's that in a nutshell, that ball right there is sort of one of the differences between it. See, Kayla hits the backhand volley down to the side, which is fine. Nothing wrong with the shot he played. But what's not available to him is hitting a cut underspin winner there. That shot is available to Durant and Mitchell as a cut, underhand winner. That, in a nutshell, kind of describes the difference in shot ending capability, between the teams, and that's the biggest dimension out there.
That one little advantage is hugely significant. And we know it's always a game. It's always a match of 1 or 2 points, or to win a game, to win a set.
It ended towards the end of my playing days, and I played a match against
Steve Mitchell caught flat-footed.
That was a big cutter there. I was playing against Wanaraya, and they won like 7-6, 7-5, right? But he must have cut finished about 10 balls. I mean, it's clearly more than the difference in the match, right? Whereas we had maybe one. So it makes a difference.
Yep.
The ability to cut finish point. Oh, big miss there. Huge. Yeah, I think this is a big game. I think you're right. I think if you're Kayla McNerney, it's hard to play this thing uphill.
It is. Absolutely.
You want to stay even, have a little scoreboard pressure on Durant and Mitchell. And that was actually one of the routine volley for a guy like Kayla.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mitchell,
just so
too much pressure. That's a great time for that.
See, he did a great job too, sort of holding it. He sort of slapped the drive and he's right in behind it. Just beautifully done there. All right, 3-1 now for Durant and Mitchell. Nope, called long. He went for a underspin cutter there. Actually, deep underspin cutter. I'm not sure he meant to do that.
No.
It's not usually the way the shot's played. It's usually try to play short in the court, swing it back. They go again, just
Seeing
speeding
a lot
up
of that.
the action.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of that shot. Same.
If he gets a winner, fine, but what he wants is creating the movement. Mitchell getting into the action too. They cannot afford to lob like that. That lob's got to get that up low one to the service line where you can't get the ball and let it drop. Once you can let it drop, the cut finishes probably happening about 50% of the balls. That's a mistake drive there from McNerney, though. He set that up by hitting that off pace, and then you see right away Mitchell just puts another tough ball, creating more movement on him.
And that's what you were talking about earlier, Brad. You just can't, that's not your bread and butter shot, and Durant and Mitchell just have extra room to make those shots, and Kaylor McNerney just can't afford to miss them.
That one long. 40-30. Oh, our umpire, he's got good lunge, belting out the score.
Yes. Can hear all the way from
Great job. It is interesting. This is I'm trying to remember. I've called a lot of matches, Anthony. I don't think I've had a match yet where a person has hit an overhead off the back and it's come to the other side. It's always a point. Yeah, I think it's my first one.
And that's a big game. So now we're at 4-1. Remedy Plus, the 2022-23 APTA Tour is brought to you by Remedy Plus. When you need the extra boost on the paddle court, grab a great tasting, body fueling Remedy Plus bar and Remedy Plus shot. Fuel your body right with Remedy Plus.
Yeah, those Remedy Plus bars, they're really good, actually. That one right here in front of me.
I think I'm going to steal one from you and take a bite or two while we're still here. I haven't had one today.
Bad idea. If you need a little jolt there. But Durant and Mitchell now are dealing. They've come to a comfortable place in what they're trying to do. The lobs have got to get a little more pinpoint foul for Kaylor and McNerney if they want to stay in this thing, because Durant and Mitchell, any single ball that they're getting that's a little bit cut, that they can force the transition, force the movement, they're creating it, and they've hit, good half dozen finishing shots.
So what does that mean for Kaylor and McNerney right now? Is there any strategy to change, or it's just execution?
I think it's execution of the strategy they got before, because the points are starting to go fast.
Yeah, they're faster now.
Right. See, they're getting fast again, right? They're not. They had that moment where they were hitting the lobs at the right distance, the right, height, space, able to stay back. Durant and Mitchell couldn't do that much with it, and now things have gotten out of hand. He's even taken that though and looking for it. And that I think hit Kaylor. And anytime they're getting these guys go, even that right there, he hits them with it, right? He's getting that. Kaylor loves transitioning to the net, but these guys want it more.
They want it more.
You're right. That's just the way they can win. They can hit you. Oh my God! Now
look at that.
That is just ridiculous. Off the top of the net, flipper.
Off the top. Yeah, so this is
when it's rolling.
When it's rolling.
Good.
That's what I was just going to say.
Well, it's funny though. In the first few games, he missed a couple of games, right? And we were like, this is where they got to capitalize, right? Get a few games, he's missing them. And now, now it's going fast. They had a moment, but this is the kind of pressure they put on you. You get lost you get lost out there. It's not simple.
I mean, it's relentless, Brad. It's relentless because you have to produce and execute every single shot, every single game, every single time, and you don't realize just the emotional wear that is. And that's what's happening. They're just emotionally drained.
Yeah, but now they're just cutting that will, and they were working so hard just to make those points.
Exactly.
What you're really saying, essentially, Anthony, is they're working so hard just to make the points go the way they wanted them to for a bit. And Kaylor I think he made it.
He did.
He's having so much fun out there. He hit it with the dagger, the ends of the paddle, and he hit a winner that way. So he's got that in his back pocket.
I'm sorry, John Lubow isn't commentating this. He would have really gotten a kick out of it.
They're sneakily at 40-30 here. So
good return. That's the forehand return we haven't seen too much of from McNerney. So he brought it out at a good time too.
Yeah, but if they come back and win this, we're going to point to that dagger. Right there is the turning point in the match. Because here just pushed it long, so now we're at deuce. Hey, let's see what happens here.
Anything to upset the rhythm. A dagger will do that.
There was 3 set points saved. All right.
And then a loose thing.
All right, let's see what we got here. I tell you, what a pleasure it is always to call a Durant-Mitchell match. It's nice to see a lot of these great players out here, but just can make the game work in different ways, right? And from multiple styles. And that's gone, and there it is. Game, set, and match. Durant and Mitchell, and they'll be moving on to tomorrow morning's semifinals, but never fear, there's women's semifinal round action coming up right after this. And Anthony, any final thoughts on our match today?
I don't know. I don't know if there's much more that they could have done. They had a good strategy. We recognized it right away. I think it could have worked, but like we said also, they had to do it so well, so many times in a row. And Johan and Steven aren't going to just sit there and take it. They adapted again as well, and they weren't able to recover. So
yeah, we'll leave you guys with the final scores. We got a couple of reports in. Humphreys was up, and Asas-Kona got 4-2 in the second set of their match. And it's Hughes and Powers who won the first set. No, that's not it. Sorry. And Morgan was up 5-3 in the second set. So a lot of great paddles still on the live stream right now. And 5 o'clock, we got the women's semifinals. So everybody stay tuned. We'll be back to the APTA Tour presented by Remedy Plus after these messages and at 5 o'clock. So tune in then. Anthony?
See you then. Thank you, Brad.
Pleasure.
High performance never tasted this good. Chocolate, berries, cinnamon, agave. Fuel your car, then fuel your body with Remedy Plus.
Welcome to CI Private Wealth. Here, you'll find a profoundly different wealth management experience. With the strength of our parent, CI Financial, we've built a diverse, world-class wealth management firm at a size and scale like no other. That means no matter how complex, extreme, or niche your wealth goals may be, you'll be matched with an advisor who can help navigate all of life's many challenges, whether personal or professional, so you can stay focused on the journey. Our advisors are the reason why our strategies are so unique, why our services are so personal, and why your wealth management experience can be so profoundly different. Get started today.
Screen drive is an offensive drive that you use when someone hits an overhead hard off of the back or side screen.
You allow the ball to go to the wire and you follow it.
And then instead of hitting the ball off the deck, you just hit the ball off the screen.
You take the ball off the screen and you drive it.
It has a lot of pace, especially in the warmer weather.
You turn around and use their pace to return the ball back with interest.
I'm Florentina Hanisch, and I'll be giving you some tips on how I hit my screen lobs. The purpose of this shot is to push your opponents off the net so later on you can cause a reaching volley error. Ideally, you want to do this shot when your opponent's very close to the net or you're out of balance or out of position, you need to buy yourself time. I would like to make sure when I'm hitting my screen lobs, I imagine two balls are coming and I want to keep that ball on my paddle for as long as I can. So wait for the ball to come to your waist high and then guide the ball all the way up. My personal tip on this shot is 1, use the screens if you think it's gonna help you. 2, make sure the pick of your lob happens on your side of the net. And finally, if your lob is still going out, just remember, it's an elevator, not an escalator. Remember, whenever you're out of position off balance or if your opponents are too close and you need to buy yourself time, let the ball drop and try to guide it, keep it on your paddle for as long as you can. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and I'll see you soon on the paddle courts.